Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I am Maureen Grudzinski, otherwise known as a Little Witchy, and I'm here with my great co-host, Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as Mr. Fuhgeddaboudit.
Forget about it. Forget about it. I gotta say it the right way, huh?
So how is everyone today? It is a dreary day here in Pennsylvania. Anthony, how is it there?
It's nice. I was outside without a jacket today, so it wasn't bad. A little chilly if you get in the shaded area, but I like wearing no jacket. Can't wait till all that happens again.
Yeah, I'm in sweatpants and a hoodie as usual. It's like my own typical attire.
Yeah.
So we already have some comments coming in. Hello, everyone. How are we today? We are still waiting for our guest today.
Hello.
Hopefully. We're hoping he remembers. I did send a reminder. We have Richard-Lael Lillard. And if you don't know who that is, you will never forget him after you see him today.
That's for sure.
He was a guest and featured on Ghost Adventures. There's so much to say. I don't even know where to begin. He's Victorian Gothic. He is a tarot card reader. He teaches at University Magickus.
Clairvoyant, psychic, medium.
Yes. He lives in New Orleans. He has been on a psychic trek across Europe and the United States. He's stunning to look at. I mean, impeccable clothing. I mean, very well dressed.
He's a gentleman.
He is. He is the psychic.
Gentleman psychic.
Gentleman psychic. So as we're waiting for him, anybody have questions in the comments? Anybody know that we were having him on here today? Yes, wow, an intro. I don't even know who's talking to us through Facebook.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that person. Wow.
Do you want to tell us who you are, or do you want to stay as mysterious as Richard-Lael is?
The Facebook user, if you don't register your name.
Oh, it's Jenny.
Oh, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
You're not registered on Facebook? What happened, Jenny? Of all people. Sorry, it's Jenny. I'll fix it.
Jenny, that is quite an intro. I can't say enough about him. He's literally like one of the coolest people I've ever seen, and I have been dying to have him on our show. And he was so gracious to be with us. And of course, we changed times for him to work around his schedule. So I apologize that we're not on at 7:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, of course. So
while we're waiting, are you up to anything these days, or doing anything with the? I mean, we gotta wait. So,
I started another podcast. We do it every other week. I'm working with Haiti, and it's called Enchanting Views and Mystic Brews. It was on last night. We make a little potion. We teach a spell. We talk about witchcraft, and we tell a little bit of history. It's a really interesting show. And if anybody wants to see it, it's under the Beyond the Boundaries of the Paranormal. Although I try to share it on my channel as well. So if anybody wants to watch that, it's really interesting. And we had a really good time last night. We didn't do the potion because Haiti forgot, but she did drink wine. So
Haiti drinking wine? No.
Yeah. And I did a spell on binding and freezers. So the freezer spell and binding spell. Hello, whoever you guys are.
I'm trying to bring that up. It's not coming up. Facebook use and stuff. We got people on Facebook.
I think that's where most people come in.
Yeah. So I'm not sure which one. I'm going through all the different Facebook pages we've been doing. But so yeah, we're doing I'm doing a couple investigations with groups. I think they're. Let me get the name of this place. They're Frinlingheisen. Yes.
There you go. I'll always help you with that.
Flingenheisen.
What are you flinging around
Flingenheisen.
there?
Yeah. We're doing that on the 13th, and if anybody's interested, that's in Morristown, New Jersey, and there's still tickets for sale. I think we have like 7 tickets for sale. If anybody wants to buy, it's going to be an awesome place to do. We did it. We actually did a private investigation there, and it was nice. It was really, really wild place. And we got so much that we did Staticon. We did a bunch of stuff there while we were there, and a lot of stuff came through. So we're going to be there on the 13th of this month. Still selling tickets. Anybody's interested. Of course, Jenny Colucci, my partner there, is going to be there. Ron Gonzalez, and Ron Gonzalez, hear me?
Oh, that's his last name now?
Yeah, I combined them. It saves me time. Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, Richard Marcella. Who else is going? Jenny. Who else is going to be there? I know Kim Gaius.
Does that literally help when you like look inside the computer? Is she in there talking for you?
Yeah, I get closer because the old man's eyes aren't there anymore. So everything is Oh yeah, Lisa and Nicole from Full Moon Paranormal is going to be there too. So it should be good. Like I said, they have 7 more tickets to sell if anybody's interested. And then we have the 26th, April 26th. We're doing the public house, and where's that? That's upstate somewhere, I think. Oh, I'm looking through my stuff here. Oh, it's in Chester, New Jersey, and that's a good event because they're actually serving dinner. It's called the Public House. It's also the steakhouse. So they're giving a dinner. The people are going to come. They got a dinner. There's different, you could get tickets for dinner or just to investigation or dinner and investigation. And then also you can stay overnight. They got a place there too. I got the phone number for that. That's 908-955-7911. So if anybody wants to come with that night, that's going to be an awesome time. We should have a good time that night.
I like steak.
Steak is always good. Steak. I like my steak with a little pulse. People like it rare. I still like a little blood going through it.
I like my medium rare.
Yeah. So we should have a good time. And we always have a good time when we get out there. So those 2 events that, whatever money goes to the place and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So if anybody wants to join us, we'll be ready. And you come.
I'm always in for that.
You come to see us live, and and you get to hear me say this live. And there might be a cannoli in it for you too. You know what I'm saying?
That would be good. Cannolis are always good.
So, so that's what's going on. I mean, event-wise, still getting ready for the Paracons.
Lots of Paracons coming up.
Yeah, yeah. You're going to Penhurst, aren't you?
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, the Penhurst one should be good.
That one's in what, May?
Yes. Penhurst.
And Jenny said, and then 511, you have the White Hill Mansion Paracon and Burlington
Oh
Prison.
yeah. That's May 11th. The White Hill Mansion has a Paracon, and I'm meeting up with Jenny there to check that out. And then after that, Parasite Paranormal is doing the Burlington Prison. So they asked me if I come along. I said, sure, love to. So I love the Burlington Prison. You ever do that one in Mount Holly, New York? Mount Holly,
I've never been
New
there.
Jersey. It's a very small place. It's a small prison. It's three floor. Well, it's 2 floor. First floor, second floor. You got a basement, and there's some good history there. Well, somebody was murdered there also, but they got a debtor. If you owe money to people,
Yeah.
the prison was put off for if you owe money and you can't pay it, you go to jail.
Oh, okay.
And so you go to jail and you sit there. I don't know how you pay your bill that way, but
well, your family probably has to pay it, just like back in the Pilgrims' time. So your family would have to pay for you being in prison to feed you and keep your space, but then they'd also have to pay your debt.
Yeah. Well, this prison also has a fireplace, and you have to get your own wood to keep yourself warm at night. And your family had to take care of you. Matter of fact, there was a famous guy that was held there back when he was caught. I think the Boston Strangler, something like that. And they caught him, and he was there for a short time. Then he left, but that's before I think they knew he was the Strangler. It was open 1811. Jenny was saying. Penhurst is the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Penhurst Paracon. That's another good invite for anybody in the audience that's wants to, check out some of this stuff. You don't have to be a diehard paranormal investigator or ghost hunter, or if you're just interested, you go to these places and you get to meet people. And there's going to be a lot of people there that's going to be part of what do you call it? The TV. The TV people will be there, and it's going to be a lot of people just to talk to some of the people that are working there and stuff like that. Prison.
So someone said that you worked in the prison until you paid out your debt.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who that is, but
okay.
Haiti, you just have to move up closer to us, honey.
Yeah, Haiti. But they got good stuff down there too. They got a lot of good paracons going on down there.
They have megacons, which would be like cartoon stuff. They have comic book stuff. They have paranormal stuff. It's all smashed together, which is really awesome.
I'm trying to find out who's in Facebook.
Lourdes. Hi.
Okay. I just got it on and I just see it's Lourdes. Hey, Lourdes. Hey, Lourdes, did you hear what I said before? I was introducing you and Ron. I said Ron Gonzalez. So it's
Mr. Gonzalez.
So it's Ron Gonzalez. So we don't have to say Lourdes, Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez. We just cut it short. So put his first name, your last name. We're set.
You wear the pants, so he has to take your name.
Yeah, that was the comment was from by Lourdes. Yes, we heard it. Okay, Ron probably loved that one. It sounds better than Lourdes Iacovetti. No, no, I think she would like that one day, but no, not yet. But.
Listen, don't count your chickens. She's going to do what she wants to do.
Yeah. So yeah, Penhurst, and I mean, I could go on to the rest of the year of all the stuff that's coming on. Yeah. So, so what have you been up to? Have you done any investigations, or any readings, or anything good?
I'll show you what I'm up to.
Ha, Bella.
So
Let's hear Bella talk. Hey, Bella.
I named her Delia because we didn't want to have two Bellas. Hello, Delia. What do you want to tell everyone?
Put it close to the mic.
What did the doggy try to do to you? It's spooky. What did the doggy do to you when you came home for the first time? What did he do? Did he try to bite your face off?
That was funny.
Yeah, he went and tried to snatch her face off.
Yeah.
So I bought this because Tim and I thought it would be a cool idea to see if they're all kind of like his. And maybe if we got them together, there might be something that they interact together.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know that Raul got one also. And someone else bought two of them. So now we can have a whole Lovabella daycare center.
That's all. You just put them in the middle of the room, put a microphone on them, and let them chat. We don't need to. They're going to take over our investigations.
I don't know. I mean, she did curse.
Yeah, the one with Ronnie. I mean, the one with Tim, always cursing him out.
Yeah, I said, I guess, I mean, we're all adults here, so what does it matter? But I said, what did the doggy do to you? And when he went and tried to snatch her face off, she said, doggy, shit. So, I mean, they do. I don't know if all of them do that. Maybe they all do.
I know.
No, she didn't say the F word yet, Jen.
Dennis Trasson. I always get his name wrong, but he has like 3 of those. He's funny with them. My friend Dennis. He has like 3 of them, and he goes on Facebook, and he'll be like eating his cereal and having having them all talk to each other. It's funny.
Do they talk to each other?
Yeah, he goes, can you just leave me alone? And they're both yapping up a storm. And he's like eating his cereal or whatever he's doing. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so then maybe, I mean, do they have attachments?
I don't know. I really don't know. These dolls here, they're very interesting. They're like Chucky dolls.
Yeah, like their whole face.
It's like a whole army of them.
The whole face moves and everything. It's really kind of creepy. When I first took her out of the box, because I got her used, and I used my intuition to pick which one I wanted. I got her off of eBay if anybody's interested. They come new, but they're $420. And I did a lot of research, and it said that a lot of them that came off the line, I mean, they only made them for like 2 years. A lot of them that came off the line were just losing it. They were, their mouths were like chattering and their eyes were rolling around in their heads and their eyes were blinking. And
Sounds
they
like
were
Friday night.
Hmm?
Sounds like a good Friday night.
Yeah.
With their eyes fluttering in their heads.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the head to spin around. So they only made them for like 2 years because they were coming off the assembly line and they were all having mechanical issues like that, where they were cursing and they were, having mechanical problems. But I'm wondering if it's more that it wasn't mechanical problems, and it may not be, possession. It could be that they can say like up to 100 words or something. Maybe it's kind of like a parrot where they listen to everything that's being said around them and they kind of start to mock what you do. But it's a great possibility that maybe there is something that they have picked up. If you're in a warehouse and you're working and you're assembling these things, maybe there is something negative that kind of does attach to it. Everybody has their problems. Everybody has, addictions. Everyone has a loved one that's passed away that they're bringing around with them. Maybe there is something heavier to it. But I mean, you don't expect to get a doll and it says doggy shit. Like they're pissed because the doll, the dog literally tried to bite her face off. The dogs will not stop barking at this thing. I had to hide it. They hate this doll. They will not go anywhere near her. As soon as she starts to talk and giggles, even when she's put to sleep, because as soon as you put her in this laying down position, she's like, and they're like, rah, 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 rah. Like they don't like her at all. They really hate her. And if you tickle her feet, she giggles. If you tickle her belly, she giggles. She like everything is something different on these dolls. They're very interactive. The dogs despise her and they want her gone. It's almost like when my mother brought my sister home. But she really
try to bite her face off.
Well, no, I did worse than that, but we won't get into that today on this show. But she is creepy. When I first brought her out and I sat her on the table, she opened her eyes and she blinked big and she goes, "Mama." And I was like, oh my God, this is like Chucky. It really kind of freaked me out a little bit. It was weird.
So what'd you name her? Delia?
Delia, like from Beetlejuice, the mom.
Yeah.
So I didn't want everybody to have the name Bella. I wanted it to be different. All my dogs and cats and whatever, they're all named after either literary characters from Gothic times or, Bridget Bishop. She was the first executed witch. So I have a black cat named Bishop. And so I thought, why not? Beetlejuice just made their second movie and I loved the mom's name Delia. So she's Delia.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like those. When I first met Tim with his doll, I remember when we first got it, tell you the truth, and it was like, that is very cool. And it was like interacting. And we had in rooms, we're doing EVPs, and the thing was saying things like, are you kidding me? So it was really, really interactive with everybody. And if it's interactive with people or something, if the spirit's there, it's going to interact with the spirit because it has the same, if it hears or sense or some, have some sort of feeling, maybe it will interact. So those dolls are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just, I got enough equipment to carry.
I probably won't be taking her everywhere I go unless something really crazy happens and whatever. But the activity in the house has truly picked up since she was brought in. So I don't know what to expect.
Okay. Well, the dogs already don't like her, so.
Oh no, they hate her. But the new dog. he's going to be 2. He doesn't like little people. He definitely he's scared of little people. Like any like the grandkids or whatever, he freaks out when the grandkids come over.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, some animals are like that. I know my dog, my little dachshund. When my friends come over, like they're really like, I have some friends are big. I got my friend Jimmy, and he's a big guy. He's like 6'2", 6 something, and big guy and stuff. She always freaked out. And he's the nicest guy in the world. And she always freaked out. Matter of fact, he came over just to see her because he wanted one of those dogs. And she was a mini dachshund. Yeah. And she was like, oh, like trying to bite his feet. And she was only like that with like big guys. And he's like, oh. He was like, come, and he's like, she wouldn't go near him and everything. So I guess maybe because of the height, whatever. But yeah, we got her, and she didn't have no previous owner or anything. We actually, we purchased her from a place. They sold the dogs. So yeah, it was, but she always tried to bite him. For whatever reason.
So, Richard-Lael is coming in any moment now. So don't go anywhere, everybody. He was mistaken of the time. And Ron, I see you've changed your name to Ron Zalez, like Juan Valdez. It's like Prince, a one-word name, but now you can make it a symbol.
Yeah.
Hi, Bobby. Thanks for stopping in.
Ron, formerly known as, a symbol formerly known as Ron.
Yeah, or Ron Zalez, Juan Valdez.
Hey, Bobby's in the audience. Hey, Bobby. We got pretty good people there. Hades in there, and Jenny.
Yeah, this is a group. I like this group.
Ron and Lourdes and Bob. Some of our favorite people in the audience.
Yeah.
And Ronald, yes, you are one of our favorites too. Don't feel you're not included in that. And Bobby, of course, Bobby. But yeah, some of our favorite people are there. Yeah, again, Bobby, I'll probably see him. Hey, Bobby, I'll see you at Whitehill. You're going to be out there. I see you put something down that you're going to be there. So we'll be up at Whitehill to check you out. Me, and I think me, Jenny, and I'm not sure if any of the other parasite people are going to be there. Yeah, so I'm going to go there and check that out too. I haven't been there. I haven't been to Whitehill in a while. I miss Whitehill. That was fun. That's a fun place. Oh, I think somebody coming in.
I was just going to invite him in a different way because he was having trouble.
On.
Richard-Lael.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I did forget. I'm so very sorry.
Well, then I'm glad I sent you a shout out.
Yes, me too. I actually have to be at work in just a few minutes, but in 30 minutes. But I think that'll be okay. I'm sorry it's on my phone. Let me see if I can rotate it sideways.
That's good. I'm just glad that you can make it with us. You look fabulous as always.
Oh, thank you very much.
So what can we talk about? So we have a half an hour with you. What can we talk about that will
take as much time as you want. I'm gonna walk. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna walk down towards where I work, and then we'll just keep talking, and then.
Nope, you lost it.
Oh, where am I?
We hear you.
Okay, here I am. Let me. What I'll do is I'm gonna get down. 5 minutes. I'll get down to work, and then I'll just sit up at a table down there, and then I will just be a little bit later than I was supposed to be for actually setting up and reading cards. So I'll walk with you and talk with you, and then we'll take an hour if we need to. How about that?
That sounds great.
Right now, you're walking down. You're in New Orleans.
I'm in New Orleans. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from New York. That's how we say New Orleans.
Well, there's.
So
I really don't mind New Orleans, though. People here who are local will bark at you. They'll say, "No, it's New Orleans."
I
Though
know I had that people correct me already.
I really, 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 really hate when people call it Nolans, because nobody, and I mean nobody, calls it Nolans.
Nolans. That doesn't make sense. So, what street are you walking down right now? Because I'm in New York. I don't know anything about New Orleans. Looks wild in the background there.
Yeah, this is lovely. This street is St. Peter. I read tarot at a little shop called Apothecary, the Vampire Apothecary, down on St. Peter.
Oh,
It looks really pretty.
yeah.
It's lovely. It's a very pretty street. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold my bag and coffee in one hand. Not coffee, tea. I'm allergic to coffee.
Oh,
Oh.
that's a shame. If I
Well,
was
that's right. I'll drink tea. It's fine.
No, tea's good. I like tea, but I didn't need my morning coffees.
So you have been clairvoyant since you were a child,
Yes.
and it runs in your family.
It does. Sorry, I'm going to switch my hand. Hold on a second. I don't want to lose my bag. There we go. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I have been clairvoyant since I was a kid. Both of my parents were. Sorry, it's so noisy. I'll get to a space that's quiet.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So yeah, when I was 5, my father came down with polio, French polio, Guillain-Barré, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
And he slipped into a coma. And everyone asked me, they said, "Well, what do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "My father is coming home for my birthday." And they would say, "Oh, bless your little heart," which for those of you who are not in the South means you dumb little piece of crap. And so my father slipped away. He actually died. He was dead for a long time, 20 minutes maybe. Long time. They called my mother. My mother was rushing to the emergency room, or rushing rather to the hospital. And my father sat up in bed for the first time in months, and scared the nurse to death, which of course that is what one would expect. And the doctor came running in and said, "What happened? What happened?" And he said, "I don't know, Doc. I just said hello and she passed out." The doctor said, "Well, if a corpse raised out of bed and talked to you, you might pass out too." So my father came home the day and the night before my 5th birthday. And my mother, I was sitting there coloring, and she said, "Honey, are you excited? Your daddy came home for your birthday." And I said, "I knew he was going to, but I'll have him for 20 more years. Maybe a little more, but 20 more years. 20 years later, he died the day and the night after my 25th birthday.
Oh my.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been traveling all over the US, all over Europe, learning, teaching.
Yes.
And now you teach at University Magickus.
I do, yes.
So what types of classes do you teach?
We teach all kinds. Metaphysical. This Saturday I'm teaching one on blood magic rituals. We teach things like opening up your psychic abilities, tuning into yourself, listening to yourself, spells, manifestations, all kinds of things.
Okay. And Patty Negri, is it her school or?
Yes, she is. She and Father Sebastian are the co-founders. I was there from the beginning, but they are the actual co-founders. One second, Bourbon Street gets to be a little hectic. I'm just going to cross the street and then I'll be right into the shop.
Okay.
And then I'll be able to actually hear you.
Oh, okay.
I always have to psych myself out to go down bourbon.
We're getting a little tour of New Orleans. That's cool.
It's
I
kind of
love it.
amazing.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's a 300-year-old city.
It's really beautiful.
It has a certain charm, that's for certain. Okay, I'm almost there to the shop. I'll just come in and go right upstairs.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Nice. Look at the
I'm
shop.
going to take this call upstairs.
This is
Okay, now it'll be a little bit more quiet. Let me see. I'll set my bag up and I'll take my glasses off. Oh, there we go.
there you go.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
not very good. Let me turn it around this way. So the lighting is in front of me instead of behind me. There.
Great. So we actually had Patty as one of our guests. She was wonderful.
I love Patty.
She's
Patty is
lovely.
one of my dearest friends on the planet.
She's wonderful, wonderful. So you've been on Ghost Adventures, and that was one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen.
Hold on, let me come in here because now the internet is acting strangely. Okay, how's this? Maybe here. I'll hold it. How's that?
Hello, Barry.
Okay.
Barry.
So you were saying Ghost Adventures.
I said you were on Ghost Adventures, and that episode was one of my very favorites.
It was a good one. It was a good one. I was on 2, the Pasadena Ritual House, which was the first one, and the second one was the Los Feliz Murder Mansion, which was also fun. But the
That
first
was
one,
probably it.
yeah, the first one, which is the Pasadena Ritual House, was they actually investigated me, and then they had me back for this murder mansion in Los Feliz.
It was, I think you were living in the house that did at one time house LaVey.
Yes, that was actually in the Pasadena one.
Okay. And it was extremely interesting because the look on Aaron Goodwin's face was just fantastic.
Well, you know what was so funny?
Hello.
Oh, I'll set my phone up here. What was so funny about it was that I had not watched Ghost Adventure since I was, probably 10 years at that point. And I didn't know their names. I knew Zach's name, but I didn't know the rest of their names. And when it calls out when it calls out Aaron, the look on his face was so funny. Poor Aaron. I didn't realize that the ghosts sort of always like to pick on Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but it didn't come up as Aaron. It came up as Godwin, not Goodwin.
Godwin.
It was just, he looked like he wanted to run.
Well, why is I'm having a hard time finding a good connectivity point. You know what? Maybe I'll just sit down here.
It's the spirits.
Well, I'm in a very old building. The building is early 1800s, 1820, I think is what I heard.
Wow.
There we go. Oops. I thought that would hold. I am so embarrassed that I am not
No,
in my
you're
usual
fine.
setup.
You're fine. You're fine. We're just happy to have you with us.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, the board spelled out Godwin. But the funniest thing to me was when they asked me to stay and do a seance. So I went in and got dressed, and I set up my seance board, and I had my rum in the middle of the table as an offering. And at the point when I started meditating, and the rum in the glass started doing this, and just as the rum got going really good, in the parlor, they get an EVP that says, take a drink. And Zach says, take a drink of what? Of blood?
What?
Yeah.
What do they think you are? I mean,
well, when people hear Satanist, they think of some 1980s horror film that, there's a lot of gore and that's not really what Diabolists or Satanists do. That's
Right.
so not what. That's so.
And the reason why we started the show is because we wanted to educate people, and not just about investigating or spirit or, the other side. We wanted to pick out different religions and let people learn for themselves, so that they didn't think that you're barbecuing babies or, whatever. So can you tell the audience a little bit about what the basis is, so that they're not freaking out or,
Of course.
running?
So I am not a member of the Church of Satan. I am not a member of the Satanic Temple. I admire both of them for different reasons, but I am independent. However, I will tell you that Satanism is not about any of the things that one would perceive. Satan actually means opponent. And people like me oftentimes will oppose the tyranny of rules set up by an ancient sky deity who was a war god. And so, we question, we say, why? So that's the major thing, is that there are 7 satanic tenets in the Church of Satan. There are 11 satanic rules for the earth in the Church of Satan. Both of them are great rules to live by. It's basically be nice to each other. Don't do things that you wouldn't want done to you. It's really humanistic.
So you're basically following the golden rule?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then do you also follow an eye for an eye if someone does something to you?
Well, there is a little of that, of course. Though frankly, I don't have the energy for that. Because it does require a lot of energy to deal with it. Now, there can be something really cathartic about saying, I curse you and may you get what you deserve. At the same time, I really I don't have the energy to hold on to all of that negative energy. I just don't. So I basically am more pacifist in the sense that, I'll stand up for what's right. I'll stand up for human freedoms. I'll stand up for human rights, for animal rights. I'll stand up for you. But when it comes to when people do me wrong, I go, all right, well, good luck with your life. I'm done with you. I don't want to deal with you anymore. I'm done.
It's the way to be. I'm the same way. It's like, that's it. Hands washed. Goodbye. Yeah.
So there really isn't anything that different about that religion than most of the religions.
There is some truth in that, excepting for the image of the devil is oftentimes invoked more along the lines to show that we are humans are animals, and we are sometimes better than our animal counterparts, but most of the time we're not. Buddhism can be really lovely, but Buddhism can get also love and light, love and light, love and light, and then I'll kill you. That's sort of the line of Buddhism. So it's similar to that, but at the same time, it's not, because it says we can be a little bit selfish, and that's okay. We're animals.
Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because everything that we proceed on, anything, Satanism, or even with the paranormal, or it's what we get from the TV.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people take their TV, a movie or something as the real, as what they perceive it to be, and TV's just going for ratings and stuff like that. So they want to make things look bad, and everything's going to
Mhm.
turn against you, and everything's evil or bad, and
Demons. Mhm.
demons, everything. Oh, being a paranormal investigator, you got people. Everything's a demon, demon, demon. But that's what happens. We watch the movies, we watch the TV shows,
Mhm.
and that's where people get their opinions from, but not actually talking to somebody or experience going to a class or just have friends that are in, different, doing these different things, but they see what's on TV or in the movies, and that's like, oh, that's the way it is, you know, you know.
The Ouija board was a 19th century invention, and it was after the Civil War, and then you have, well, before it was the Fox sisters with their popping and cracking, and then it was in the late 19th century, 1890s, when the actual Ouija board came into fashion, and people had lost a lot of loved ones, and it became this sort of spiritualistic movement.
Mm-hmm.
But by the 1960s, it was kind of a funny little game. Nobody gave it any credence until the 70s, when The Exorcist came in.
Oh yeah.
When people saw The Exorcist, oh, I don't want to contact a demon. They're demons. It's a demon. I don't want a demon. Well, that was really Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was based on a real story from a boy who,
yes,
in the 40s, but did he contact a demon through a Ouija board? No.
Mm-hmm. It's between the Ouija. I mean, it's like I said, we get everything, our knowledge, from TV shows. Not unless you sit down and do the research on something, or just like an interview today. I'm gonna probably learn a lot from you, because I know so much about sadism and everything else. I'm a Roman Catholic, but I'm open to everything, and I know, and I'm friends. I got many friends with different religions and everything. So
I do too. And here's the deal. I will fight for anybody's right to believe whatever they want to believe. You want to believe the world is flat? Great, believe it. I'll fight for you to believe that. Are you wrong? Absolutely. But I'll fight for you to believe it. The only thing is, don't push it on other people.
Exactly.
Don't have your belief or lack of belief. That's great. Good for you. Whatever makes you happy. But when you say, no, mine is the only one that is right, and I'm going to restrict your vote, and I'm going to force you to say my prayers, that's when I have an issue.
I do too. Yeah, I understand that. Yes. Do you actually teach this, or people come to you for advice, and on the because I know there's a lot of interest in it too. I actually my friend had the Satanic Bible, and we read a couple passages on that, and it was interesting. I didn't think anything bad about it.
No, it's Anton Szandor LaVey was an artist and a poet. He was very theatrical, and that is one of the aspects I love about the Church of Satan. It was theatrical. And Anton LaVey came on the scene at the opportune time. It was the 1960s. People were already starting new religions everywhere. People were already starting anti-establishment religions. They were already sort of working their magic to create a new way. And so he came on the scene right at the opportune time. And because he was connected to actors in Los Angeles, it helped propel his idea.
Yeah.
Anton LaVey was a brilliant man. He was theatrical, but he was brilliant.
Yeah. I'd say I just know like what they tell you in the movies and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we read some of the passages out of it, and like I said, it was interesting, and like I said, I didn't think anything bad of it.
We are, as creatures, we are very audio visual, and we do believe what we see and hear. And the movies, that's how we get a lot of our information.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, we watched on Patty Negri and I do a podcast every week called Witch's Movie Coven, where we discuss witchcraft in cinema. And there's Patty Negri and Heather Green and Courtney Buckley and Jason Mankey and myself. And we talk about witchcraft in cinemas. And this last week, we watched Time Bandits, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I hated. But beyond that, in this film, the Time Bandits go gallivanting through time, and they end up by meeting Napoleon, who's obsessed with short people and short things hitting people. And Napoleon by modern standards, was short, but he was not short by 18th and 19th century standards. He was about average. So, but the entire time he's overcompensating in the film. He's overcompensating for his lack of height, which we believe it because it is in pop culture. It's in media. It's what we believe. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes with paranormal. The same thing goes with
anything. It's like anything supernatural, paranormal, anything that's not, it's just misunderstood with the public.
Exactly.
It could be anything that's misunderstood, and we perceive what we see on TV, and that's all in movies.
Absolutely.
Or what we hear from somebody else. Oh, that the rumors going around about this and that, and it's like, wait, sit back and just try to experience something and learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
That's what we have a problem with this TV and everything. And of course, they want to make money off this, whatever they're putting out there, whatever they're producing, because that's what it is, a money making thing. So they'll give you half truth.
Every time.
Half truth, and then they'll blow it out of proportion to make it.
Well, and that's why it is important that I tell people, trust yourself. When I do readings, I tell people this. I say, cards are not magic. Cards are tools that help us tell a story. I am looking through a very small window into your world. I have no outside context. I say what I see, but I'm playing Pictionary with the universe. If I say something that means something more to you, trust your intuition before you trust mine. Because again, I'm not in your world. Words have more than one meaning. Pictures have more than one meaning. So if you find meaning in it, that is the meaning that is meant for you. I'm not in your world. I am not the translator.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's, I see you also paint. You painted too. I seen because last couple of days since I heard that you're coming on the show, and of course I had to do my research.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I paint. I've been working on one of my own decks. I was a little lax this last year, but I've been working on creating my own deck of tarot cards, and then almost every week, we do Scared and Alone with Courtney Buckley and Dean Hagland, and sometimes Patty is there. So we send Courtney into a haunted location, and I paint the specters that I see in the haunted space. I'm not in the house. I'm not in the space. I'm in my own home, and Courtney is the only one that's there, and I paint the images that I see.
Yeah, I started watching a little bit of show. Like I caught a couple clips, and that's with the picture that's on your Facebook page with the flame. It looks like a house on fire.
That was the Weymouth, Massachusetts. I think that was where that one was. It was a congregational church that there were three that stood on that spot that all there was one in a Shaker, like a Quaker meeting house, that burned down, and then there was one that was built in the 19th century, and it burned down, and then it became a town hall which burned down, and the clock nearly crushed the fire department, and then they tore that part down because it was ruined, and then they built a jail over it, and in concrete, and that was built in like 1930 something. So on that same spot, it had three major fires.
Oh wow. Wow.
Why am I seeing like the doors being tied shut?
You mean in that painting? It's possible. It is possible that has happened. Though you may also be picking that up here. So New Orleans is a very old city. New Orleans has burned several times. This building that we're in is 1812, somewhere early 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
Many places were burned here, and the attic housed what was called the casket girls. They were young women who carried around little caskets, little jewelry boxes, and they were kept in the attic. They were supposed to be the guardians of. Well, they wanted to bring men here, so they wanted to keep them interested, and the nuns would keep them bound in their little rooms. So that may be what you're picking up on this end.
So they were bound in the room, and the place was torched.
There were times that it just fires just spread. The girls had tried to escape out one of the attic windows, but the doors were locked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think New Orleans, the biggest fire, one of the fires was like 1905, something like that.
A lot, yes.
It was a big fire. It almost burned down the whole. It burned a lot of places in there. Yeah, because New Orleans, back then, everything was made out of wood anyway. So one spark could just set off everything.
Well, and that was the original. The French settlers that were here. Everything was made of wood. Everything, and then in the early 19th century, there was a major fire that destroyed much of New Orleans. I mean, it's burned like 3 times. So when the Spanish took over in the early 1800s, they made things out of brick. They thought that it would protect against the fire, and it does a little bit, but it's still burned down since then.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
So we have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
We have tons of comments that come through. We have a great regular group. Someone wants to know, can you ask what type of style his deck is that he's creating will be like?
So my deck is it's based off of the traditional. Now I'm drawing a blank now that I put on the spot.
Like the Rider-Waite style?
It's the traditional Rider-Waite, but all of them are sort of special to me. Like, for instance, the magician is the white rabbit from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I use images of different ancient deities. I use Lord Shiva, and I use Kali Ma, and I use images. There are classic literary stories like The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, and it's just things that I sort of like. My favorite, however, happens to be a past life, which is really, really curious as to why I'm here. So we were at the. I'll go back and tell you this, so I can tell you why about that. I'll tell you the card. So it has my face. The card has my face, and I'm dressed as Bo Peep, little Bo Peep. And the name of the card is Beau Peep. Beauregard. His name is Beauregard Peep. It turns out that we did a Scared and Alone show, and my friend asked me why I knew so much about the American Civil War, and I said I was here. She said, "Oh," and she said, "So you really think you might have been a Northerner?" I went, "Well, I've been to the North, but I think probably I was not. I think I was probably not. As much as I would like to say that I was on the right side, I don't think I was." And then I Googled really quickly, and I found General Beauregard. And General Beauregard looks like me. And he was a Confederate general, but after the American Civil War, he left his post at West Point Academy in the Hudson, New York, and he because Louisiana had seceded from the Union, and he said, well, it's my home, I have to go fight for my home. But after the Civil War, he said, listen, leave these old ideas in the past, we don't need those anymore, those are old ideals. He said, I admire Abraham Lincoln, he did the right thing. And then Beauregard became a civil rights activist, and he spent a lot of time with his male hairdresser, who was a black man, and his very best friend, who was a Latino man. There were lots of rumors. Nobody knows for certain, but he was a civil rights activist after the war.
Oh.
I love it. I love that story.
Yeah. On your page, you have the picture of Beauregard and you. You have that picture on it, and I was looking at it like, and now I make sense. It's like you told the story, and he does look like you,
right?
Yeah, and I thought it was like one of those black and white type of, you get a souvenir type of thing. He looks just like you. That's it. Yeah.
Well, they say if you have a past life that you look very similar to yourself. There may be some, changes, but even your personality is very similar.
I hope I didn't look like this through eternity.
My waist was smaller.
Who do I piss off? Man.
Let's see what else we have. Can you name the most famous person you have done a reading for? Well,
I won't name names. I won't.
Client confidentiality.
Yeah, no, I won't name names. I will tell you that some of my clientele have won Oscars. That's all I will say.
That's a good answer.
Some of my clientele have won Emmys. Some of my clientele have won Tonys. That's all I will say.
Okay.
I missed a question, but I don't know.
Lourdes asked a question about the after Katrina. That's Lourdes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was after or before. That was the next one. After Katrina, did you feel an energy shift in
Well,
New Orleans?
I wasn't here then. I wasn't here in New Orleans then.
Didn't you live in San Francisco prior?
Yes. So I've lived all over the world. London, Greece, Denmark, Sweden, San Francisco, Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, Pennsylvania, even briefly. So I've only been here in New Orleans for 10 months. And was there a shift? I mean, I can tell there's a shift. I can tell there's a shift, even though I wasn't here before this.
Mm. Yeah, I figured with all that stuff that happened down there, everything with it, spiritually and everything else, changed. Well, maybe got more than it was, or
Bloody Mary was on our show, and she said that she saw significant change for sure.
Bloody Mary is one of my dear friends, and she is lovely, and she is a NOLA resident. Her ancestors go back hundreds of years here, so she would be the one to know that there was a shift. Yes.
Yeah, she said there was. That's Jenny. Who's
wants to know, how do you engage your cartomancy?
Well, how do I engage with it? I mean, the first thing I do is I clear my mind. I have the sitter sit up nice and tall. Together we inhale through the nose. We hold the breath. We exhale through the mouth. 3 breaths to connect the mind, the body, the spirit. And then I always get images in my head. And I'll say things. I'll just say what I see. Case in point is that I had a client in New York, and she sits down and I said, I keep seeing the Star Trek logo, and I hear to boldly go, but it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't say to boldly go where no man has gone before. It just says to boldly go. And she goes, huh, okay. So we go through the reading, and I said, oh, I lay out the cards, and I said, there's a gentleman who's coming back into your world that was not, but he's coming back. And she laughed, and she said, okay, here's the deal. I was seeing someone here in New York, and we're both Star Trek fans. We love it. It's huge. It's our favorite thing in the world. And he moved away, so we didn't pursue a relationship. And now he's coming back. And I was just today talking to him about Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
And the reason it didn't say where no man has gone before is because she has. But it says just go.
She's on there.
She's already been there.
There are a lot of times that when I'm going to do a reading, on my way there, I will get information even before I know who it is, their name, anything like that. Do you often have the same thing happen?
Absolutely. 100%. Now, I used to be a singing blackjack dealer back in Vegas. And this was the funny thing, because I would deal blackjack while dressed as Freddie Mercury and singing the music of Queen. And we had an automatic shuffler. And I would know if I would touch the back of the card, I would know how the entire game was going to play. And it just took me to touch one card, and I knew the entire game.
Wow.
So I remember there were three people sitting at my table, and number one had I think he had 13, and then number two had 11, and number three had, I don't remember what number three had, but it'll come into play in a second. And I had a 6. And I said to this fella, I said, what do you want? He says, hit me. I said, listen, this card right here, this is a 10. This is the queen. This is the queen of hearts. You're going to bust. You're going to lose. You're going to lose anyway. But if you take this 10, that means that this guy right here who has 11, he needs that 10. He's going to have 21. But if you take that card, he'll have 17. And then that means that if he gets 17, this next guy is going to get, he'll have 19. He was supposed to have gotten 21 as well. And that means that I'm going to draw 21. And this guy, number two, is betting for me. And he said, I said, hit me. And I said, fine. 23, you busted. 17, 18, 21.
Did he get up and leave?
Oh yeah, he was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, oftentimes I don't know how it works. I would get to the point where I would even lay all the cards out face down on the table, and I would go through and I would say things like 13, 21, 17, 16, 15, 12. And as I turned the cards over, I was right all the time. How did it work? I don't know.
They can't even say it's rigged because
they said, well,
it's a shuffler. How can you fix it then? It's an automatic shuffler.
It's an automatic shuffler.
Yeah.
And you don't know if they're going to tell you to hit them, hold, whatever.
I pretty well knew.
But they didn't know. They didn't know what they were going to do.
They didn't know, but I did.
When I go to Vegas, you got the shuffle for me.
Right?
I'll be like 21. Yeah, okay. Hit me.
So we have a couple more. Who inspires you most in your life?
Who inspires me the most? Well, that is a tough question. I have so many, for living and dead, but I guess I'll just say my own mother. My mother has passed away. So she was always my inspiration. She was my best friend. Aww. She was always kind to me. She was always understanding. We didn't see eye to eye on a lot of subjects, but she was lovely and she was my best friend. So I think I'd have to say her.
That's nice.
That's awesome. When you mean, that many people have inspirations. That's their parents, and I think that's nice.
Both of my parents were really, really amazing, upstanding, wonderful, good people. If ever there was a real Christian that walked this earth, those two people were the epitome of what Christianity should be.
Yeah, I see one of the interviews with you. Was it Protestant?
They were Pentecostal.
Pentecostal, yes. My wife's big Pentecostal. Well, she was brought up Pentecostal, but yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm Catholic, Roman Catholic, she's Pentecostal. That's a little, sometimes a little difference there, but yeah.
A little bit different.
Different. But it is what it is.
Slightly. Ron Iacovetti says, have you worked in conjunction with any electronic ITC method before? We've been fortunate to have run our white noise method Staticom in a digital seance with Patty Negri and Bloody Mary. It's amazing. They have I can't even say. I don't know.
Staticom stuff.
I have done a few of those. I was in Vermont and I had done one, and I was actually in the other room, and they had someone who was in the other room listening to the device, and then they had a caller between. And every time I would say something, now she had the earphones in, she couldn't hear anything.
Oh yeah.
And I every time I would talk, she would answer me in the other room.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I have used it. I'm really very, very old fashioned. Oftentimes for me, I just use the images and pictures and sounds and smells and noises that I get in the room. I'm a little bit Victorian. I did a seance the other day where I tried to use the electronic voice,
like a Pana box, ghost box, or something.
Yeah.
Ghost box. I tried it on my phone. I couldn't even figure out how to make it work. I mean, I went kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
Ufi wants to know, are you ever wrong, and how does that make you feel?
Well, I'm a human being. And am I ever wrong? Yes, I am wrong. Sometimes I think sometimes an image is not the entire truth. Sometimes it's only a partial truth. I admit to it. I openly say, I was wrong in this one. A case in point. I was on a show back in Los Angeles, Odd Man Out, and they had 5 real psychics and 1 fake psychic. And I said, oh, that's easy. I told the producer, I said, that's easy. The woman, she is beautiful. She's young. She's 23. She's mixed ethnic. She's got curly hair, beautiful skin, and she's Googled, how does a psychic dress? And when she comes in, she's going to be wearing mandalas and beads, and she's going to be beautiful. And here's the kicker. She doesn't know it, but she's actually a psychic herself. So in walks all these people, and I went, okay. I know you. And then in walks this woman, and she was exactly like I described. Well, I was baroque as a joke. This was before Ghost Adventures. I was like, oh crap, I have bills to pay. I didn't know how much money I was getting. I didn't care. So the first woman, I'd made the mistake by watching how the show worked before. So it usually went 3 rounds. That was what they did, 3 rounds. And the first woman, we all voted out because she was rude. She was just rude. And then I thought, okay, well, I guess everyone knows we're playing the game. Everyone knows what I know. Everybody knows it. So the next woman was very rude to me. And she said, oh, yeah, maybe you're the fake. You're wearing makeup. And I went, yeah, I am. I'm on television. I wear makeup anyway. Why not? So I thought that she had voted for me. And I was wrong. She didn't. And I voted for her. And my thought was, when I went up to that podium, I fought with myself for about 20 seconds. And I thought, I know that it's Paris. I know the fake is the woman standing next to me, but so does everybody else. Clearly they know that we're playing the game. Clearly they know that. Clearly everyone knows that we're trying to get the worst people out so that we can actually get more money together. Okay, all right. Next round, we'll vote for Paris. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. So we complete the round. They vote out that woman, and I thought, ha, yes, everyone understands. They understand that we're all on the same wavelength. And then they said, if you would like to continue playing the game and you feel like that the fake is still in, raise your hands. There was only me and the woman on the other side of Paris. Everybody else voted to quit playing the game. And I turned and I said, no, you were next. You were obviously the fake the entire, what is it? What? Mm-hmm. And then in the comments, they said, oh, yeah, sure. You knew afterwards. You knew afterwards. Oh, yeah, right. Sure. You knew afterwards. And I went, well, the only problem was that I second guessed myself. And I thought that I had more time than I did. Mm-hmm. And that's where I get wrong, is when I second guess. When I say, no, I'm going to play the game and it'll be okay. I'll go against what I actually feel. I'll go against my intuition. I'll go ahead and do it and it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. Trust your intuition.
It's always like
I watched that episode last night.
I did too.
She said she was from Japan and all this stuff. The woman, yeah, I remember you saying, yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
it's always when you second guess yourself. It's always when free will comes into play. I always tell people, if someone says that they're 100% all the time, find another psychic medium, because it's bullshit.
It is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely bullshit. You can't. We can only be about 85%. And I tell you, I have people that come to me and they say, well, tell me about my health. And I tell them this. I will tell you what the cards say, but I am not a doctor. I don't do health. I am not going to tell you that you're going to be okay. I'm not going to trust your doctor. I'll tell you what the cards say if you really want to ask it. I'm not a doctor. They'll ask me about, should I invest in this company? And I say, listen, I am not a financial planner. I barely take care of my own. I'm not a financial planner. Mm-hmm. I don't play the stocks. I can tell you this is what the card says. I'm not going to tell you that's what you should do. Do not take my advice unless you have already studied yourself. Mm-hmm. Because I will not be responsible for your stock crashing and then you losing everything and you saying, well, you told me. Right.
That's why you have to say for entertainment only, even though it's not. Somebody wants to know, what is the earliest experience you remember indicating your gifts? And was it through a dream, images, feeling, seeing, or hearing?
Well,
that was Lourdes that asked that question.
That's a good question.
I mean, I've always had dreams. I think it was probably a dream. I was always dreaming of old haunted houses, which I love, but in the dreams they were scary. And then that it sort of, in one of the dreams, I took it like this and I squashed it and I threw it over my shoulder, like it was me conquering my fear. So that was one of the ways. I grew up Pentecostal, and they believe in the gift of prophecy. So I walked into rooms and I knew things. I just knew it. I thought I was telling you things that you already know, like your shirt is black.
He's right. Look, my shirt is black.
So's mine.
See? So
wow.
You can never get that wrong with investigators, because all we wear is black. Black, light black, pastel black, charcoal.
Yeah. I think all my shirts are black. I think I have one blue shirt.
I think I go to like pastel black, which just means it's been washed too much. Mm-hmm. But I love the way you dress. It's just a thing.
Thank you. I was feeling a little bit eclectic today.
Very sassy. I love it. I think Bobby Gallo. This might be Bobby Gallo. I need to find out mustache wax he uses.
It's called Death Grip.
Death Grip. I love it.
Okay.
He's very fancy also, very classy. He lives in a castle also.
How delightful.
Yeah.
Were you able to give yourself superpowers in your dreams?
Superpowers. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, I was able to fly in some of them, but even still, I don't know. I mean, superpowers. I don't
That
know.
might be something else anyway.
I mean, the thing is, I do what's called dream walking. I do walk through people's dreams, sometimes inadvertently and sometimes on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So are they superpowers? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's supernatural so much as it is just a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, someone else, I don't know if this is the same person or not. Is there any significance if you don't dream or dream but don't remember them? I think that people do dream and they don't even realize that they are.
Absolutely. And then we forget in the mornings because we have our alarms that go off. If you can't dream, you can't dream. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're just forgetting that you did because there's so much stuff going on in your head.
Or you're under a lot of stress, or you're on medications, or you're getting too, or you have a health concern. I mean, it's not everybody's gift.
Ufi has a question about they love your whole.
Well, thank you so much.
What's the backstory for the Pythagorean sideburns?
Well, you know what? I liked them. I just liked them.
I think we're frozen.
Also, the razor sort of fits right there, so it makes it nice and sharp.
Do you walk into someone's dream with their permission, or is it by accident?
I'm sorry, I repeat that when you cut out on me.
Do you walk into someone's dream with their permission, or is it by accident?
Sometimes it is by accident. Most of the time it is with permission. There was, for instance, I will tell you the story. I was going to refrain from it, but I will tell you a story. So a friend of mine from Los Angeles, his mother lived in Eastern Europe, I beg your pardon. And she had injured her back. And so he says, well, I think it's all in her head. I'm just going to give her something to let it be a placebo. I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Actually, let me do something for her. Let me actually do something. Let me meditate for her. So I wrote her a letter. I told her that with her permission, I would be coming into her dreams, and that I did give her a meditation stone, a worry stone, as it were. And then I went into my meditation, and in the dream that I had, I was in a cave, and I was wearing my top hat, and I was working on somebody's back. And then the next thing I know, this woman is standing there, and she's screaming at me, and she starts running away. And I said, wait, no, come back, come back, I'm helping, come back. So I put that in my little cap, and I thought, okay, that was funny. And the next day, my friend tells me, oh, my mom, she tells me she owes you an apology. And I said, what for? He said, well, she said that she fell asleep, and she was feeling nice and warm, and her back was feeling a little bit better. And then she got startled in this dream, and she said she was in a cave, and there was a man with a mustache and a top hat, but his body was a spider, and he was working on he was spinning someone in a web. And he said she got scared, and she started screaming and running away, and she just knew that it was me, and she wanted to apologize. I said, she doesn't have to apologize, but let me tell you the dream that I had.
Huh. Very interesting. Does that happen often?
I'm sorry, you froze one more time?
Does that happen often?
Often it does happen on occasion. Not all the time, but it does happen on occasion.
Very interesting. So what abilities do you have? Did you start with one or two and then you started working on the others? Because that's usually how it does happen.
Well,
but
it started with clairvoyance, but I've always been a manifester. I would draw the things that I wanted to create them in my own world in some way or another. And then it was just a natural, but it's called folk magic. So being raised Pentecostal, you basically, it's folk magic. They believe in it, even if they don't call it magic.
True. Very true. Do you offer any workshops for psychic and mediumship development?
Yes, I do. You can find me at University Magickus, and I teach those. I teach once a week, usually Saturday mornings.
I am actually going to include all of your links in the end of the show, so that way everyone can get to you whatever way they need to get to you.
So, well, we ever get down to New Orleans, we'll stop by and say hello.
Yes.
I would be delighted.
That'd be great.
I do still apologize for slipping my mind about the interview today. I'm not typically like that. I've just had so much going on.
No. That's okay. Like I said, we're just so grateful for you to be with us.
Yeah.
I was so excited to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Well, I am honored, even though somewhat embarrassed at my lack of discretion.
I totally forgot about the time change, and my husband was the one that said it's 4:00, and I said no, it's not, and I had to check the calendar again. What was it like growing up for you, having these abilities? Was it?
I mean, I thought, I knew that I wasn't normal per se, but I thought that I thought that it was, I had a tendency to think that I was commonplace. I thought that everyone did what I did. I thought that I was just sort of down here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was just common.
That's when people ask me, I say the same thing, because when you're younger, you just don't even think that there's anything different. You think that everyone is the same way, and you just kind of go along your business until you say something about, oh, that person, or, the lights that are exploding because of your energy or whatever.
And that has happened so many times.
When you get angry?
When I'm angry or excited or
emotional.
Or there will be mini earthquakes. The room will vibrate.
Yes. It's just there's so much energy. And if you're an energy worker or mover, it's just something normal. But then it's not normal, because when you finally do bring it up when you're older, everyone's like, what are you talking about? Why are these light bulbs smashing? Yeah. So it's a strange thing. Someone wants to know, what is the name of your shop?
Well, I work at a bar and restaurant. I read tarot. It's called Apothecary, the Vampire Apothecary, here in the French Quarter. I also offer readings in my own home, which is a little more personable. I offer, when you come to my home, you get tea and you get to explore, and it's quiet, and it's here. It's a public setting, but I love where I work. I love the bar. I love it. But it's if you want a more personal one, come to me personally. If you're okay meeting me in the public, this is a great place. They have great food, great drinks.
I seen pictures on Facebook. You showing your place.
Your house is beautiful.
I mean, wow!
Thank you.
It's like all the things. Like, wow! I don't know where to start.
I like to tell people that I decorate an early American funeral home, which, it's none of it is early American, because that's actually very distinctive. But as far as early American funeral home, it's quite apropos, because funeral homes really became a thing in the 1860s, and by the 1890s, it was a major booming industry.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about early funeral home, early American specifically funeral home.
Yeah. It's like, wow. You don't know where this, I look at the picture and it's like, wow, you got a lot of stuff in there.
It's just stunning.
It's
a lot of stuff. I sometimes think life would be easier if I were not quite as fabulous.
It must have taken you decades to collect all of that.
Well, partially, yes. So some of them I found in. So I have moved so many times, and in Los Angeles I had moved, and then I sold down to just a few of my favorite things. And then when I lived in Pasadena, then I was able to really start collecting. And then I moved to New York and I sold some of the things that the things that I liked, but I didn't really love so much. And then I moved from New York to Pennsylvania and sold things. And then I moved from Pennsylvania to Long Island and sold things. And then while in New York, I actually was able to find a lot of things.
It's so beautiful. I mean, you don't even know where to look first. It's just, and it's so well put together. I don't know. I guess I don't know how to decorate.
Well,
I'm a minimalist, I think.
I wish I could be a minimalist, but I'm really a true Victorian. And in the 19th century, the upper echelon of society wanted to display wealth on every surface. They wanted draperies, and they wanted stained glass windows and verandas and rooms within rooms, and they wanted floral wallpapers, and they wanted expensive rugs, and they wanted paintings and statues and bronzes and terracottas and vases and junk everywhere, really.
And it's not junk. Everything is just so amazing. I mean, there are so many things there that I can't even imagine where you found these things. It's just beautiful. So it has the opportunity
everywhere.
I've been very lucky. A lot of things find me. My Victorian Rococo Revival sofa was a free find on Marketplace, 1860s. Wow. One of my favorite chairs, it's this little 1880s little tufted number with fringe, and that was found on the sidewalk in Long Island. It was just out on the street.
Anthony, get looking.
You got to see some of the stuff they throw out. Yeah.
And then I have really great friends. I've been given some really lovely gifts, some really amazing pieces that they go, I don't have any room for it, and I know you would love it. So I haven't spent a lot of money, but it looks like I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of those stuff, like you say, you could find. I know. I have a friend that he's retired now, but he's sanitation, and they used to find stuff, especially in like the richer neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
They just get tired of something, they just throw it out.
Yeah, and
it's still good and whatever. And like antiques and stuff like that, at sales and stuff, and people come in, their parents or their grandparents' estate, they don't want the stuff, so they try to sell it, and when they don't, they just throw out.
I just saw on TikTok. One second. I saw on TikTok there was a. On TikTok there was a medieval manuscript that was put in the recycling bin.
Oh my gosh!
500 years old. Somebody found it in the recycling bin.
Unbelievable! I mean, they just toss everything out. And you don't know what your grandparents had from back then, and where they had it. It might have been passed down from generation to generation, and then they just toss it away.
I have the most beautiful bench and chair here and they're both upholstered. The bench needs to be fixed, but
Mm-hmm.
they were both from an old church, and I got them in an antique shop.
Uh-huh.
And the bench was broken, so if you sit on it, you're going right through the floor. But that's what I have my clients. They're going to eventually sit on that. Right now, I just use chairs, but they're both really beautiful, and they're Victorian. But I offered them something different because it was broken, and they gave it to me for that. So
that does happen.
I got lucky.
That does happen.
But I love
Stephen Dills just came on, and he says he misses you.
Oh,
Hope you're doing well. Miss you, man.
Steve Dills. Hi,
Mhm.
Steve.
Yeah. Figure I'd let you know. Yeah.
What was that?
No, I just want. I mean, I'm looking because I have the Facebook on my other monitor, and I got this one. This is on YouTube, so I'm starting to see people's names. Who's a Facebook user on Howard?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Steve Dills. So yeah.
I think it's because it's so early in the day. A lot of people are just starting to get out of work, so
I'm
We're
just
missing
going in, which I actually should be going downstairs pretty soon. I'm already a little bit late.
if you need to, that's perfectly fine. We
Yeah.
understand you.
I
helped us
do.
out.
I'm so sorry that I was late coming in, in on
No.
your show.
No, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for
Well,
being
I
here.
would be delighted. Just remind me the day of.
I didn't want to bother you again.
No, I always I prefer to. Sometimes I agree to something and then I don't automatically put it in my calendar and I forget. So you have to. I'm old, so you have to remind me.
Oh, that's how I feel too. Just one more question. Ron Iacovetti wanted to know if you had the chance.
I think you froze on me.
Oh, you're frozen for me.
Mhm.
Ron wanted to know if you've been to Cape May, New Jersey. It's all Victorian and a beautiful town.
You froze on me, but I need to get going. It was lovely to chat with both of you.
Lovely to be with you as well. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
You're welcome. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Oh my gosh, I just love him.
That was awesome. He was very nice. Very nice guy.
He's sweet. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, Marco, you've been to Cape May. My family goes to Cape May for their vacations. They love it there. We started in Virginia Beach and then they moved over to Cape May. We go to Key West, however. It was a great show. He's just such a sweet, sweet man.
Yeah. We had a lot of good people on today too. In the audience.
Yeah.
Questions. It was great. So I'm glad people popped on. We had a nice amount of people on. I didn't think at this time of day everybody be,
Yeah.
watching us as much.
I know other people are going to watch it later. 305. Yeah, I definitely loved watching him on Ghost Adventures. Like I said, my favorite part was when he turned toward Aaron when he had the Ouija board out and he said, "Oh, Godwin." That made me crack up so bad. It's just
I looked them up yesterday.
Watch it. It's hysterical.
That the thing with the it was like three satanic,
Was it when they were at the table?
and then one Catholic, and they went back and forth, and you had to find out who was in
that show. Okay.
that show. Yeah, I mean, you just Google his name and it'll pop up on YouTube. And a couple of things he did was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
He was very downplayed in that show, I think.
Yeah, he was.
He's also done he has a YouTube show called The Gentleman Psychic. He was in Scared and Alone on YouTube. But I'm telling you, you have to see that Ghost Adventures if you haven't seen it, because I think I'm going to use this word because it's necessary. Aaron almost shit his pants. Every time I think of it, I lose it. Like, and Jay Wasley, he was doing some kind of like, I think it was kind of like witchcraft upstairs, but they were in Anton LaVey's house, which is where Richard-Lael was living, and I don't know if he just cranked up the drama or if he was just kind of channeling something, but it was hilarious. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life when I watched a show. And this was supposed to be like creepy, and I was not creeped out at all. It was, they were doing some kind of like seance, and then they went upstairs. Oh my God, you got to see it. It's funny. Mm-hmm. Yes, the house was stunning. The decor was amazing. If we're just going to talk about, I know Marco's pissed about us talking about the interior design, but it was amazing. So yeah, that was all his stuff too. But there was like I think there was like a tower that they used to use for like summoning or something. It was amazing. I mean, this house was amazing. It was, I can't talk about this show enough. I know. I'm going to shut up.
It's nice that we had a little walking through New Orleans.
It was pretty, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we could see of it. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice. It felt like, you know.
Sorry. He had to run.
Yeah. I mean, we're lucky to have him because he couldn't do it tonight because he's working and everything. And so you got to work.
Yeah. And originally we were going to have it so that it was pre-recorded, but luckily the guild allowed us to do it live so everybody can ask questions, because I hate when, you know, we get on here and it's just pre-recorded, nobody can ask questions. This was really cool, and no matter how much time we had with them, this was great. Don't you think?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So everybody popping up, that was great. I was like surprised. Everybody came in. You know,
I know a lot of people are going to watch this because he's just so interesting, and he's got such a cool background, and you know who he hangs out with. They're very interesting people. Like Patty Negri, she's such a sweet lady, and Father Sebastian's so interesting. Oh, Ron said now we have to do another show tonight. Ron, if you want, we'll do the show from 7:30 to 9:30. You'll get so sick of our voices, you're going to want to cut us off forever.
You'll start listening to us through Staticom. He'll start listening to us through Staticom. You throw the Staticom on and just listen to us. Come through there.
I'll get the Panabox out. We'll get
that's Staticom 3.0.
Little lady.
Voice is going to come through.
We could just do last year, March, we walked around New Orleans and saw the shop he's working at now a few times, Fun City. I saw pictures of it, Ron Iacovetti, and it is a really, really beautiful restaurant and bar. And it's, I don't know if I have it with me. Ron, hold on. It's a really beautiful place. It's all like these really pretty greens. It looks very, it looks really, I don't know. It looks really interesting. This is the Panabox. It's very small. It's like, all right, Todd Carmela, we're going. We're going to do like the Brady Bunch road trip. Anybody wants to go, we're going.
No, we do like the Griswolds vacation.
Yeah.
We'll all pack into a big green station wagon, and we'll strap Maureen. We'll strap you to the roof in a rock chair, and then we'll just shoot down there.
I'm Grandma.
Yeah.
We'll just get a big RV.
That's all. Yeah. We shoot on down there. Station Cannoli.
No, Ron.
Yeah? Static
Ron, it's not like a ghost box. It's it does like go through the like an SB7. It would go through the channels, but it's so much clearer I don't know. How would you explain it, Anthony?
What you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a little clearer going through the channels, but it's. I mean,
It's so clear. I
yeah,
can't. I
it's
mean, I guess
clearer
it
than
goes
most of the boxes out there right now.
the Panavox. I don't have a Panavox, Todd. I have Panabox, which is what I just showed, but it's working. Unless there's something else. Are you talking about the
Panabox,
app?
that's the one on the. That's the app.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I had that app one time too. I think I still have it somewhere on my phone.
I tried to download the Phasma box, but I can't find it on my phone for some reason. I don't know.
So,
Yes.
yeah, the Panabox.
So yes, it is a sweeping ghost box. Hi, Jen. I love my Panabox. It sounds like a recorder. It's so clear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really super clear. I mean, that's what we were using when we were at the Masonic Lodge, and I would use that. And Todd or Carmela, somebody was using the Phasma box, and then I think they were using. Oh, so you were talking about Panabox, and somebody else was using the Dead Bell, and we were doing a trivia game with the spirits, and we would ask a question, and then I would yell out whatever they said the answer was on the Panabox, and then they would tell me what they responded on the Phasma box, and then you'd hear ding on the Dead Bell.
Yeah, I like that Dead Bell.
It's cool. It's really cool.
I mean, I like the idea of just the bell itself too, as a trigger object. So I was thinking about getting one of those, and just bring it and just put it in it and listen if anything or ring it or set that off. That Dead Bell is pretty cool.
At this
the first
point,
time I've seen that.
I think I have so much stuff that if I sold it, I could use that for a down payment on a house.
You want to see what I got here?
Yeah. What is it?
I got a whole room I got 2 shelves of old equipment. I got equipment on this. These are all my cameras on my side here. I got a whole room full of equipment in here. I got so much stuff.
Well, then sell some of it.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that. I mean, some of the stuff I haven't used in years because it's always new, and you always wanted to get the newest stuff. Now I'm looking back at the older stuff. I'm like, no difference. I'm still using some of my old stuff. I don't know how many of you guys know this. Yeah, it's an old radio, AM, FM.
Oh,
This is the original Spirit box.
The Radio Shack?
The Shack Hack.
I just got one of those.
That's why you changed it.
I got this from Bob Christopher.
Yeah, the cat. That's pretty cool. Let me get rid of the sound here.
Might as well show off what we have.
Yeah, this is the original SP7. Just before that even came out. Shack hacks. So yeah, it's interesting in some of these boxes that it became. And the old Ovilus, one of the old Oviluses. This has a thing on it. This is the Ovilus X. If Bobby Gallo's on, he'll probably remember this. I first Ghost Adventures had this on there, and I thought, oh, it was so cool. I can actually hear the voices of the spirits. And I
thought I brought something in that I wanted to show you.
So this is the old stuff, some of the old equipment that we have. But yeah, I
can't find it.
Got so much stuff. And then, as you go along, you always try to bring something new into it. So you always try to get it some sort of trigger object or something. I actually have devices, meters that actually measures the decimal sounds. I was trying to see if certain decimals of the sound, um, of spirit is different than us, but it didn't work. If it did work, I didn't know it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you buy, and especially when you're in construction, you always go to the store, going and think, hey, that might work. That might work. A lot of things haven't worked, but so we're getting. So
It is like show and tell, Jen.
show and tell. I'm
I'm
embarrassed to show you my room.
We got the Tempest and we've been using it, and it's been really weird. So my husband used it when he was at the lodge, and it was bringing up all Masonic words. I don't know, was he with you at the time when he was using it?
No, I don't remember used Masonic words.
Oh, he was walking with Patrick.
Yeah.
So he was walking with Patrick, and all this Masonic stuff was coming up. And I said, well, you suck because it's never worked for me. It just throws out weird stuff. And he's like, well, maybe you're just sitting at home and it's not really like connecting with anything major. And it's just tossing out words. So after that, I was like, I'm going to make this thing work for me. So I was sitting at home by myself, and I turned it on, and it was saying things like, you are the one. And I'm like, I'm the one that what? And it said, gateway. And I'm like, okay, so what am I the gateway for? And it said, loved ones. And I'm like, okay, so I'm psychic, I'm a medium, whatever. And it said, let me out. I'm like hell, I'm letting you out of anything. And it said, and I said, I'm turning this off now. I really am not getting into something like this. I am not letting anything out. I have no idea what it is or what it wants. And I said, I'm turning you off now. And it said, don't leave.
Wow.
And I said, no, I'm turning you off. Nothing in this house is supposed to be here. You must leave now. I'm putting a protection over my family. And it said, playing games with your mind. And I was like, that's it. I'm done.
That's what it's doing.
The next day, Todd was with me. And I said, you need to see what this is doing. Saying the exact same things. He's like, put it away. You're not allowed to use it while you're here by yourself.
You
and I said, I'm not using it by myself. You're here with me. And it's doing the same thing. Like, this is not cool.
I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah. Be right back. I just want to show them one thing.
Has anybody had anything like that happen to them with equipment where it said that it was trying to get out, or that you had a connection, or there was an attachment or anything like that?
Todd and Cabello uses an old Polaroid. You want to see an old Polaroid? Look at this one.
Oh, no.
I would love to get film on this, huh?
Yeah, that would be cool.
One of the original ones, Todd. Yeah. I found this when I cleaned out my mother's house. Yeah, this is how it used to go. In. And then you close. I got to figure out how to close it because...
Does it work?
I don't know. I don't know even how to get film for this. It just pops right out. That was like, I got like 2 of these. Yeah. Talking about old equipment, I could show you some stuff. They have the crank start. So yeah, 305. They were on Entity Voices not too long ago. Good team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like when teams start to get together and they follow others.
Yeah. I mean, we had a good show today, and we had a bunch of good people on. And
I just realized it's 5:56.
yeah, it's getting to the witching hour.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
It's getting to the witching hour. Yeah. Come on, to take it to a show. This show today was great. Nice,
Thanks, Bob.
fun, excellent guest. And that's Lourdes under him as Facebook user.
Yeah.
So, hell no. So we want to. So I think we're getting to that hour. It's that we could relax.
I've been relaxed the whole time. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm relaxed. I'm just, tired.
It's been a long day, I think.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy
Now,
day.
can we announce who we're having next week so everybody can get ready for it and be here?
Sure, you might as well.
We are going to have Scott Porter and Stephanie Burke next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't. They're good people.
This is a great show that we're going to have.
Yeah. Those two. Yeah, like I met Scott years ago at the Gettysburg Paracon. Then I bumped into him around the other Paracons. But every year it's like, okay, we have to have the yearly picture because his booth is usually near mine. So I go to let's have a yearly picture. So it's good people, very good people. It's going to be very informative, and they've been on shows and on TV, so people will know them.
We met them at Gettysburg Bash, and that was the year that we had Satan in the baby carriage, and and Stephanie stopped me to pet him, and he almost flipped the baby carriage over. He was only about so that was when it was in September, right?
The bash?
Or was it August? August.
Back then? Well, last year was July, and this year is July. I think the year before that it was June, wasn't it? Or maybe it was August.
I think it was August.
Possibility, yeah.
So he was only about 4 months old, and he hated people. Mm-hmm. Every time somebody would try to pet him, he would flip the baby carriage over, and he was little. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even really look at her face. I thought it was Porter's assist. So I had to send her a message afterwards and say, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize who you were, Steph." And she laughed, but I said, "But I still think your shoes are fantastic," because that's all I really noticed at the time. And then we went to investigate with them after that, and we had a great time. And they're like just the best people. They're like just so humble and sweet. And I've been trying to get them on this show since, and they were working on a show at the time, so they couldn't do video. And I said, just put a mask on you then. Like, we'll do whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Like, so finally they're coming out too.
Finally agreed. That was great. That's great. So all right, 6 o'clock.
All right.
And
the bong of 6.
You want to do it? Do our thing first, or you want?
This is another fantastic episode of Dimensions of the Supernatural. I'm Maureen Grudzinski of A Little Witchy. This is my great co-host, Anthony Simonelli, Mr. Fuhgeddaboudit, and again, Richard-Lael Lillard. Fantastic guest. Anthony, take it.
And I just want to say, be safe out there. You want to look for ghosts. You don't want to be a ghost. I'm going to say good night. Ciao, familiar. So here we're going to go.
Hey, how you doing?
Take care, all.
Good night.